Good morning, Magic players. Welcome to the morning show where we talk all things Magic the Gathering. Get your questions ready. We do Q&A in this morning. So get them all fired up, and I'd love to have a great discussion with all of you. We also do we also do Decklist review. So if you have a 75 you want some feedback on, want to show a community, what you've got, we submit it to us and we can fix the mana base, the creature base. We can help take it to a new direction, help beat the decks that you can't beat. So and both myself and the community can do that for you. So brew up your cups of coffee and let's brew up some great Magic conversation. Welcome to Coffee and MTG for March 8th of 2021. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, James. Good morning, Fish Fam, and happy new week. Yes, happy new week. It's a whole new week. It's a fresh... Mondays are good for somebody. Sorry, Mondays are bad for most people, but are going to be good for somebody. And what a great way to start off the week with some Magic discussion. Good morning, Ramen. Good morning, Frederick. Good morning, Basketball. Good morning, Casper. And Ramen, why isn't there a modern counter burn deck? Is it just outshined by Blue-Eye Control? You mean like, I assume you're talking about like Jeskai Control? A deck that has counter spells and also burn spells. So I mean, because that generally was our counter burn deck for a very long time, but the problem is that your burn spells are like act as very poor removal spells, because that essentially what is the counter burn deck. It's like, yeah, it's counter spells, but also has like, you can use their burn spells as removal. But what if what if your burn spells don't kill the creatures? Also, what if you're constantly in the mirror, we're up against another control deck, and now your burn spells are just garbage? You know what I mean? So that's basically what it comes down to. No, it's still playable. Like, you can still play Jeskai, and someone who I think the best Jeskai player on the planet right now is Aspiring Spike, and he makes very good variations of Jeskai control, very well in tune with what this deck needs. But usually his actual win conditions are things like Shark Typhoon, for example. So not so clear that you can just rely on the burn spells. Also, there's a lot of life gain these days. I mean, some decks will just like gain enough life that you can't just rely on the burn strategy. Good morning, Ugly Hood Rat. Good morning, Aaron, Papa Joe, Curry, Steve. Good morning, Skith. Like, is it control or what I like to call controlled burn? I think the closest we have to that in Modern is basically Jeskai control. Casper Soul, what do you think about dash hopes in Modern? I have a feeling I'm going to dash your hopes. All right. Okay. 2 mana black instant. When you play dash hopes, any player may pay 5 life. If a player does counter dash hopes, counter target spell. No good. Okay. Name me. I'll tell you this much, chat. Name me cards that are good, like serious Modern play, serious Legacy play, that gives the opponent an option. Gives the opponent an option what they do with it. Like, okay, you can give me this effect, or if you do this, I get a different effect. None of them see play. Like, it's like Vexing Devil. They'll only pay the life. It's like Vexing Devil. Let's go to Vexing Devil. They'll only pay the life when it's good for them. You might think, hey, 1 mana for 4 damage, that's not too bad. But yeah, but what if they say, okay, it resolves. I don't take any damage. Okay, Fatal Push this. Lightning Bolt this. Block this. Kill it. So that's what it comes down to, is when you give your opponent the option, they'll choose what's best for themselves. So like, let's just take a combo player. They're about to combo off. The Storm player just played Gifts Ungiven, which is like sort of a card that gives the opponent an option. And then you play Dash Hopes. They'll be like, okay, pay 5 life. You're dead now. You're just dead now. So anyway, these cards are unplayable. Whenever you give your opponent an option to like either have that effect resolve or give them an alternative, it's never good. That's why Dash Hopes doesn't see any play. Same thing with Vexing Devil. Isn't Vexing Devil like expensive? Oh, it got reprinted. It was like, I swear this card was very expensive once. It says like around $5 now. I think it used to be really expensive before Ultimate Masters. Anyway, Great question. None of those cards work at a competitive level. Hey, Daryl. Hey, morning. Just a person on the internet. Otro. Hey, Nikachu. Good morning. What do you think about ally tribal decks? Do you think they have a future? I think allies has a lot of good cards going for them, but they need more allies. So either there is some shapeshifter that pushes them over the top, which I doubt it, because they're pretty conservative about the shapeshifters. They don't want to make the shapeshifters OP, because then they make all tribal decks OP. But if allies gets like... There's just one too many janky allies out there. They've got some good allies. Make no mistake, I think allies has a lot of good cards. They've got their own champion of the parish, in fact. Isn't it better than champion of the parish in a way? But it doesn't start off as a 1/1. What's the champion of the parish ally? Does anyone know? I want to look it up. People, find me that champion of the parish ally. I'll just thank everyone here. Hey, Cole. Hey, David. Hey, good morning, David. Hey, Grim. Orion. MTG Ectoplasm. Xarin. Andrew. Hey, Hugh. Do you think Goblins is a competitive modern deck? Yes. Not super well positioned, but fine. Good morning, Yanchevik. Hada Freeblade. I mean, like, so it says, whenever Hada Freeblade or another ally enters the battlefield under your control, you may put a... Oh, yeah, it is better than Champion of the Parish. You may put a +1/+1 counter on Hada Freeblade. So it's literally Champion of the Parish. It's literally a Champion of the Parish, but comes out as a 1/2. Just strict upgrade. So, I mean, allies has good cards. They need better allies. There's too many janky allies, like they mill and stuff like that. So if there is another set that comes out with allies could go take right off. This deck maybe probably one is not enough. Maybe if they get 2 more good allies, we could seriously see a good ally deck out there. We could seriously see a very serious ally deck out there. All right, everyone. If you're new to the show, this is how it works. Help me by giving me 3 question marks before your question, 3 question marks after the question. Helps me find your questions amongst all the comments that I'm getting between 2 YouTube pages and a Facebook page. Also, you could cheat the system with super chats. If you're on YouTube, you can donate with super chats. It'll help push your question to the top of the list. Although I only get a really strong notification if you donate $3 or more. If it's less than $3, I may or may not get it. I don't understand why. It's just something janked with YouTube, basically. Okay, Papa Joe MTG. After watching your Getting Good at MTG series for the nth time, are there any tips outside of that playlist that you could share? I will make a video. I have something planned today to record that will come out later this week, but I'm going to be talking about like the fundamental, like the fundamental core advantages that you get in Magic that you have control over. Because other than that, like, I mean, there's an infinite number of concepts, but I'll just let you know something's coming out in the pipeline that I'm sure you'll be happy to hear. Because I do want to talk about more about that stuff and see how well it does. Idea for a video showing off your paper deck, especially after Time Spiral remasters. You know what? I want to do this, but I want a new binder. I want a new quadro binder to showcase my cards, and it just doesn't... I can't buy any on the market or anything that I want. Some of them have like these ugly fronts. Damn it. Let me look up quadro on. They seem to be all sold out. They're all sold out. Like, there's nothing good on Amazon. Anyway, so I do have an idea. I want to show off my foil cards on my non-foil cards, but I do have some plan for that. I'm just waiting to upgrade my binders. I don't even know if that's important, but I want to upgrade my binders for a better viewing experience. Good morning, Mikey J. Wizuko says Merfolk community should shut up because they printed wishful Merfolk. Magengar, what impact would Tendrils of Agony make in Modern if it was reprinted in Modern Horizons 2? I guess Storm could try to go black. but I doubt it. It would just make them. I don't. It's not even clear that Tendrils of Agony would be playable in Modern. Let me look. Let's look it up. It's like a new Storm finisher, but I don't think they. First off, I don't think they need this. Second off, we don't have the mana in Modern for the card like this. Like, they cheat on mana with things like Lotus Petal and Lion's Eye Diamond in Legacy. So I actually don't think this would see any play in Modern. We don't have the mana to make this version of Storm work as well. Who knows? Maybe there's an ad nauseum. No, yeah, maybe there's an ad nauseum deck that can be made out of this. But still, it's the mana problem. There's a lot of free mana in Legacy. There's no free mana in Modern anymore. I mean, they banned Simian Spirit Guide, for crying out loud. They banned Simian Spirit Guide. If I were to pick another deck to sink time into other than Burn, would you suggest Blue-Red Prowess or Bosch Prowess? I would suggest Blue-Red Prowess because that seems to be the one that has stood the test of time so far. I would say you wouldn't be making a big mistake going either way. But I will also say that M. Hayashi constantly changes his Abosh deck to accommodate the metagame, whereas Blue-Red Prowess is pretty stock and you don't have to change anything. It's probably pretty good to go as is. So if you want to build the deck that you really don't have to pay attention to, then I would go with Blue-Red Prowess. Put Dash Hopes in Rack/Smallpox. No, it's still not good enough. Still not good enough. Don't give your opponent the choice. Just don't get... They'll just let their spell get countered, and then your card didn't really do anything, you know? Or they'll pay the 5 life because you're lost. Ugly Hood Rat. Nikachu, if Cavern Souls did not exist, would Control Magic be out of control? Probably not. I don't think so. I don't think, like, I assume you mean counter spells. I think Cavern of Souls is not holding back I don't think Cavern of Souls is keeping control decks in balance, especially since there's not many tribal decks out there, people. There's just not that many tribal decks. Show me the tribal decks. We are a very small portion of the metagame. We are a tiny piece of the metagame. When Humans was around, I was actually concerned they would ban Cavern of Souls or Aether Vial or something like that. When Humans was at its height, before the printing of the Plague Engineer, people. But now they always have Plague Engineer at their ready. I'm gonna have a delicious cup of my coffee. Great start to this morning. Do you think Bring to Light has what it takes to be a tier 1 deck in Modern, asks Brian. Yes, absolutely. So Bring to Light is just a fantastic tutor. It's been close a few times. I mean, it depends on the Bring to Light deck that you want to play it in, but it absolutely has the potential to be a tier 1 deck. 100%. Very good chances. Like, it just needs to be jammed in some sort of control shell, and it can do a lot of things. Especially since, like, 5 mana, you can get anything. You can get you can get anything, right? Or almost anything. Search for a library, instant, or sorcery card. It's anything but a planeswalker. But the most important thing is you can find sweepers and you can find combo pieces to help win the game, like Scape Shift. So anyway, I think it's a very competitive card. Gazpacho, Nikachu, did you think that with a slower metagame and the print of Skyclave Apparition, green-white value will be a good competitive deck again? Not necessarily. I don't know what I mean, it's possible. Anything is possible, but you just have to build it properly. Just to be fair, I don't know what made the green-white value deck good in the first place. Like, I don't know under what conditions it's well positioned when it's badly positioned. I don't know if it was the speed that made it poor. Maybe it was graveyard hate. You know, it utilizes the graveyard, right? With neither Reliquary and Ramanap Excavator. Maybe it's graveyard hate that holds it back, and there's and if there's more graveyard hate in the metagame, it's poor. I just don't know. I don't know what makes that deck good. That's the only problem. Good morning, Hoax. How does it feel being a Fish player today? Feels fine. I wish I could play test more. I'm getting a sense that we need Harbinger of the Tides. Like, so I'm spending a lot more time on YouTube and less on grinding games of Magic. Although I'd like to maybe add one more day a week with gameplay. I wouldn't mind doing that, but I still feel pretty good about Merfolk. I feel very confident. I just wish I could play test more to really figure out exactly what the right build is, because I've been sort of just winging it for like almost 4 months now, and I'm not really going anywhere. I win some, I lose some, but I'm not doing that great. But over the last few weeks that I've played, I get the sense that Harbinger of the Tides is going to be a very important card. I might, like I'm playing 2. Maybe I should be going up to 4. Maybe that's what needs to happen. Too many creature-based decks out there. What do you think about elves in Modern? We're waiting. We're waiting on elves to do something with the new Kaldheim cards, but it looks like, a lot of people tried some stuff. Probably didn't work. Not doing that great. Elves is, it's a deck. It's a deck, but you need the right matchups for it, because if you are up, I will say this much. There's less prowess in the metagame, so you should fear less removal, but still, it's slow out of the gate if people are killing your creatures, and there's a lot of removal in the metagame right now. Little Bird asks, is there anything better than re-sleeving your deck into brand new sleeves? No, especially if you play with foils. If you play with non-foils, re-sleeving your deck doesn't really mean that much. I don't see a big difference. But when you play with foils, it's an enormous difference, because the friction of the sleeves rub against each other, and then they start sort of scuffing and scratching themselves up, and it becomes sort of a cloudy, it makes the sleeves cloudy. You can't see the images clearly. And then when you double sleeve your cards, your foil cards, it's like you clean the window or something like that. They look so good. Benjamin, hey Nikachu, I was interested in playing Modern, but I can't decide whether I want to buy the paper cards or buy the cards online. Do you have any advice on this? Good question. Can you only have one? It's not for everyone, but if you're a competitive player, you buy both, because you buy on paper to play at your local game store, play with your friends, and paper tournaments, but you get most of your practice online for that paper deck. Now, alternatively, if you really don't want to buy the online, I personally right now, like right this very moment, it probably is better to get the online cards, because it might be a long time before we start going to our local F&M on a regular basis. On the other hand, you have the option to buy the paper cards and then occasionally rent them online. You could do that. So those are your options. Personally, I don't know how expensive the deck is, so you might, if you're on a tight budget, I understand you can't buy copies of both. You're asking someone who plays a lot online, so I'm somewhat biased to playing online, because you can play as much as you want, whenever you want, and against very good competition. So there's a lot of advantages there. Well, I'll give you this much. Try Magic the Gathering online to see if it's even for you. I don't know if you've ever played on it before, because a lot of people just can't. They're like, this client is terrible. It's awful. I skipped through my attack. I tried to tap my land for mana instead of I target it with my Spreading Seas. So there's some very serious it's not an intuitive program. So you make a lot of mistakes. It's not for everybody. So I would lean towards online if you had the choice between one or the other. And by the way, just to remind you, you can sell your cards online. You can sell them to the bots and then sell the tickets to some online vendor, and you can get some cash back if you're concerned about being committed online. But I would lean online. But I hope all the options I gave you, you got to make your own decision there, because I don't know. I just don't know what your situation is. Quinn Reed, do you think Vampires in Modern is a Vile deck or a Thoughtseize deck? They have Lords, but not as many ETB. I think it's a Vile deck. Maybe you can have both, because after all, there's a lot of threats that you can take with Thoughtseize that you don't need to take on turn 1. Like turn 3 Thoughtseize, not terrible. So I never thought about Thoughtseize in the past. Like do I have to play Thoughtseize on turn 1? Do I have to play Thoughtseize on turn 2? Maybe Thoughtseize on turn 3 is not that bad, because it's going to hit the most important cards anyway. But anyway, yeah. So I still think it's a Vile deck. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I have not dived into every variation of Vampires. So if someone comes out with a Thoughtseize version with no Vile, I would believe it. But I would say this much: Vampires, a lot of the triggers require a lot of mana. It's a pretty mana hungry deck, so that's why the Vile helps. You get the creatures in play with Vile, and then you can pay for triggers, like Celestia Highborn, for example, with the mana that you have available. I read that question already. Be careful with spamming, people. I time people out if you write. I know people want to game the system, but if I don't get to your question, you just got to wait another day. If I see your question too much, I'm going to time you out. Does Neoform hold any potential as a fair non-combo as a fair non-combo card? No, of course not. It's like it's the moment that you're going to get some value out of this card while upgrading your creature, very likely you're just going to be like, okay, how do we combo with this now? So I don't think there's any chance for that card to be fair. Gamma Ray Gaming, is there any way of making Affinity good in Modern currently? Yeah, just play it. I think Hardened Scales is very underrated. I think it's very, very underrated. Like, there's no artifact hate. I think that makes up a lot. Now, one thing that sucks about Affinity is that the Prowess Dex has a lot of removal, so that might hurt. You know, Lava Dart, 2 things in a row. You know, Signal Pest, Vault Scourge, Lava Dart, those stupid things. But Hardened Scales Affinity doesn't have that problem because you can get value out of the creatures that die because they go to the counters go to the Ozolith, or you can sack them with Arcbound Ravager. So anyway, I think Hardened Scales is a very underrepresented deck right now. Is there going to be a Twitch stream later today? No, there will be a Twitch stream on Thursday. There will be a Twitch stream on Thursday. I'm on Thursdays and Sundays. You can find my Twitch stream schedule in the description, people. It's there. I do change it once in a while, but it's there. I hold to it. Orzhov Charm in Death Shadow. I gotta look this up. It's probably good, but I'll tell you why it's not played. Okay, let's read this one. I don't even remember. Return target creature you control and all auras you control attached to it to its owner's hand, or destroy target creature and you lose life equal to its toughness, or return target creature card with converted mana cost 1 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. So, so here's the deal. Are you making like a 5? Are you making like, is it like S? Is it like, how many colors of Death Shadow is this? Because you need at least red in the deck. I don't think this is really that great. Hold on, return target creature you control. That mode is useless. You don't want to bounce your own creature. Return target creature with converted mana cost 1 or less from your graveyard. Or destroy target creature and you lose life. Like, the whole destroy target creature and you lose life, Dismember does a much better job. So here's one more important thing, though, when you talk about Death Shadow cards. It seems like Death Shadow cannot win unless they play with Temur Battle Rage. Every non-red Death Shadow deck has failed. They've all failed. They can't win without this card. If you just put enough tokens on the battlefield, they can't win. They lose. So they need to add red. So the question is this, what kind of Shadow deck is this? Is this Mardu Shadow? Which is possible. I have seen it. But I don't think they necessarily need this for... I think it's okay. It's okay. I think Mardu Shadow can work. But then you're throwing away things like Tarmogoyf. And good black-green removal. That's all. That's all. Yeah, I would say this card is okay, but I wouldn't say it's like amazing or anything like that. David, did you get a hold of that super spicy list you played against in your last Goblin stream? The one with Trespass? I did not get a hold of that list. I was not interested in playing that thing. Steve Manzo, the Rakdos Shadow community is debating between Goblin Guide or Magmatic Channeler replacing Bomat Courier because of Lava Dart. What do you think is the best replacement? Channeler. I don't think Goblin Guide would work. Also, why even... Okay, have you exhausted Soulscar Mage and Swift Spear? Like you're already playing like the full 8? Because I would play Soulscar Mage. I would not play Goblin Guide. Goblin Guide is actually not that good. It just gives your opponent too many lands, like way too much card advantage if the game goes long. Shyla asks, hey Nikachu, what do you think are the difficult matchups for Merfolk in the current meta? More power to you. The difficult matchups for me are Death Shadow. That seems to be a hard matchup for me. Like the aggro versions of Death Shadow with Swift Spear and Soulscar Mage, this is bullshit. Or just even Swift Spear, so that's a hard thing to deal with. And they have Lurrus, so I mean, I can grind them out. to an extent, but then they get, I'm empty-handed, they're empty-handed, but then they get Luris, and then they start bringing things back. So, I mean, I have to counterattack faster, but that's really hard to do. So, actually, this is, Death Shadow is probably the hardest matchup for me right now. Can I give another one that's pretty poor? Amulet's pretty poor. Heliod sucks. Actually, Heliod's not that bad. I've actually raced that deck quite a few times, so maybe that one's not too bad. Is it Prowess is very 50-50-ish if I have Chalice of the Void, and if I don't have Chalice of the Void, I'm just straight losing. McGengar! When impact with Tendrils of Agony? I've answered that one. Dragon Shield has nice binders that are all black. Yes, find me some that are on sale that I can actually purchase. Let's take a trip to Amazon.ca. Maybe they're available in the United States. I don't know. Dragon Shield Quadro. See, like they got no binders available. Look, no price means sold out. Oh, they got something here. $80, but it's blue. But this is sort of what, you know. Honestly, I would like only 8 left in stock. But do you have something other than blue? I'd prefer black or a much nicer one. Like I have this one. This is. I should have just put Quadro instead of. Look, go Quadro. They know what I'm talking about. Like these are crappy binders. I want a nice one. I don't mind the Quadro. See, look, all sold out. So many sold out. Like everyone's bought up all the binders. Fuck the reserve list cards. People are buying up the Quadro binders. As far as I'm concerned, all we have left are like these weird green colors. I'm not buying this thing. I don't want to buy out of desperation. I don't want to be the. I don't like being that type of person. Well, there's nothing left. I'll just take this one. No, I'm patient. I'll wait a few more months to see the stock come back up. The franchise. I have a Living End deck, but I also have the base for Vannifar Pod. Do you think any of these decks are viable right now? I think Living End is very viable right now. I don't know about Vannifar Pod, although I played against it the other day. Living End underrated. If Karen Souls did not exist, we'd control. Am I like in? Did I go backwards or something? Or is everyone just gaming the system now with the double comments? You behaved, people. You behave. Behave. What happened to Girl Midrange? Still there. It's actually still there. It's not as popular as it used to be, but it's still around. Currently, spirits have Mono Blue, Azorius, and Bant. Is too much diversity in this tribe a bad thing, and why? Nope. It's good to have options. It's better that you have the option to go Bant or Azorius. Do you have Mono Blue? I don't know about a Mono Blue. I've never seen Mono Blue spirits, but having diversity is very good because at least you have the option. If you need to splash for Collected Company to race combo decks, boom, you've got that option. If you need more utility cards versus, I don't know, combo deck, or I don't know, not combo decks, Death Shadow decks or something, then go Azorius. It's good to have options, people. What are your thoughts on the Godzilla cards from Ikoria? Do you feel they are safe from a reprinting? Nothing is safe, but I would find it very unlikely that they would reprint Godzilla cards if you're afraid of reprints. Very, very, very unlikely. Because instead, like from Wizards' point of view, why make Godzilla cards when they could just print some new thing? And I think that, obviously with Universes Beyond, they're gonna go in the route of like just making tons of new stuff. They're not gonna go back and reprint that old stuff. And I think they're great. I really like that idea of taking just normal cards and putting some intellectual property on it. I think that is better than making unique cards that they're probably going to do, like from Walk of the Dead or The Walking Dead. I hate that. I think that's ridiculous. Jason Zimmerman, what's your reaction to the Historic Anthology 4 cards spoiled over the weekend? The 4 cards? I thought the whole set was spoiled. They put Death Shadow in the set, and all the other cards look like garbage, as far as I'm concerned. Andrew asks, what do you think about Sunscorch Regent against Storm and Prowess? I don't know what this card is, which always means it's not good. you kidding me? This is 5 mana. It better have, the cost better come down when I'm reading it. Flying. Whenever an opponent it's 5 mana. You're dead. You're dead against all those combo decks and prowess. You're just dead. It's unplayable. Jimmy Clams, do you think Enduring Ideal is more than just a meme deck? No. I think it's still pretty much a meme deck. I'm not like that. Enchantress deck needs to take a different direction, I would say. I mean, I know it. I guess I think you're talking about that sort of stacks enchantment deck. Anyway, it doesn't seem like a real deck at the moment. It needs to go in another direction. Jason, what personally made you settle on Merfolk? As I'm not sure what deck speaks to me after some gameplay. I mean, I can show you exactly what I'm talking about. So let's go to Nikachu MTG Goldfish. I was asked this the other day. So I fell in love with this deck in Standard. This is Standard back in the day. I know it was Mono Blue Devotion. This is when the Devotion mechanic just came out. And it had like Cloudfin Raptor, Judge's Familiar, Frostburn Weird. It was Mono Blue deck. It was just a Mono Blue. We got Tidebinder Mage, actual Merfolk. Thassa, God of the Sea, basically a Merfolk. Master of Waves, definitely a Merfolk. But the point is, it was a blue creature-based deck. I love this deck. This deck was so fun to play. I loved it. I played the shit out of it. And then when I was trying to choose a modern deck, Merfolk was incredibly similar to this. Just insanely similar. So I settled on Merfolk. That's what I did. Maelstrom MTG. There are some decks in my experience that you can buy both for under $100. Yes, you could do that. Check out Maelstrom MTG to find out how to save some money. Eric Priesick, how often do you play chess these days? Almost daily. Like I'll get like a game in, like I'll get a few blitz games in. I mean, just look at my history on chess.com. You'll get a pretty good idea. Although sometimes I play on Lee Chess on my computer. Although I have 2 accounts, one of them being called 500 IQ Chess Strategy. I think that's my username. I should just go back to Nikachu. It was supposed to be like a streamer name, but never got around to playing chess on stream. How do you revive Boros Prison into the metagame tonight? I don't know. I am not working on that thing. Boros Prison? That's an idea. That's interesting too. I mean, we all think of like, why is it mono red prison? Why can't we just splash a color for more tools? And it's not like Blood Moon is still going to lock us out. It's like Blue Moon. You know, maybe it's like Blue Moon, but a different color instead of blue. White Moon, Black Moon, Green Moon. We have options, people. Vastbrook, hey Nikachu, any tips on how to get into Modern? I have a local play group who plays a little bit, but I was mainly gonna play on Arena. Just jump in, pick a deck, maybe ideally pick a budget deck. There are a lot of decks out there that are relatively cheap. Maybe look up budget MTG decks. Maybe go check out Maelstrom MTG. He has a YouTube channel. You got to specifically write it in like that on YouTube. Hard to find his channel at the moment just by using his name. Probably easier to find his videos, and he's got like a wide variety of budget decks that you could choose from, build in paper. I think that's a good idea. I mean, you just join. I mean, you know, what kind of player are you? You like to play with counter spells? You like to attack? You like to ramp? What do you like to do? And then pick a deck. There's a little something for everyone in Modern. Although some things cost more than others. Mikawai. Good morning, Nikachu. What do you think about Rakdos Death Shadow and Jund Death Shadow? Very strong decks. Always have been, always will be like playable at the very worst. And then at any given weekend, it's tier 1 to tier 0. They're very, very strong. That's why Death Shadow has been just a long-standing archetype up to this point. And I think it's good for the Death Shadow community. It took a long time, I think, for them to dump Grixis when it wasn't when it was poorly positioned, and finally go back to Jund Death Shadow. And then all of a sudden, Jund Death Shadow is getting all the results. So I think the Death Shadow community just needs to be more flexible about being able to pivot to another color pie, another color combination in order to get those edges in the metagame. Just like we were talking about spirits earlier. It's good to have options. It's good to be able to go from Azorius to Bant, or in this case, from Grixis to Jund, or to just straight up Rakdos. I think it's good to have options. Basketball asks, do you think a printing of Eseth, like, Careful Study would even be good, would be enough to bring back Phoenix? I don't think it would be good enough at the moment, even with it. I think it would. I think it would make it very playable. You need to have something good to do. Like, the thing is, what made Phoenix good in the first place was the turn 2, turn 3 kills. It's simple as that. You take those things away, which you do with Faithless looting, and all of a sudden, no turn 2, turn 3 kills. Now you actually have to win in a fair manner, and now the win percentage of that deck collapses. Like, that's what made the deck, was the early kills, and that's what Careful Study does. It's not the back half of Faithless looting that everyone should be scared of. It's the front half of Faithless looting that everyone should be scared of, and Careful Study can still do that. Nikachu, is this the card that is missing for elves to be legit Abomination of Llanowar? Probably not. Abomination of Llanowar. Oops. Abomination. Oh, this is a new one. 3 mana, star, vigilance, menace, power and toughness are each equal to number of elves you control plus the number of elf cards in your graveyard. Oh, graveyard counts. I still don't think this is that good. It's just like one big beefy creature, but it has no other synergy outside of that. It does have vigilance and menace. I don't know how to judge this card. This card could be really good. I just can't judge this card. It's not bad. It's not bad. I wanted to laugh at it, but it's not bad at all. So you still get value even as the creatures die, which is very important, super important in Modern. So I mean, kill the other creatures, whatever the fuck. It's still this thing's still big. And vigilance and menace can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures. That's actually good. So it sort of has some pseudo evasion. I like the card. I actually like the card. I don't know if it's good enough. I don't know if there's room, but it's not trash. Sean Wu, what's your preference? Matte or gloss sleeves? Matte. Like matte sleeves. Get that shiny stuff out of here. I'm doing great, Gabe. Thank you very much. Hope you're doing great too. Mikey J, can we discuss the difference between fair and unfair in MTG? I think the team is getting muddy now. As far as I'm concerned, like, unfair for me is just a deck that's trying to get underneath what you're doing as quickly as possible. That's how I look at unfair. Well, okay, there are other ways of looking at this. Like, you know, how does a deck have an advantage? It's because you can't interact with it. It's too powerful. It's too fast. What are the things? Like, the more a deck can be interacted with, the more fair it is, because you actually can interact with it. Like, you know, like Bogles is trying to fight on an axis of not being able to be interacted with, but actually that's not true. It folds hard to, like, Thoughtseize, Inquisition, a Kozilek, even a Liliana the Veil can destroy a Bogles player. So I would say the more powerful a deck is versus the field, the more unfair it is, and also the less the field can interact with the deck, period, the more unfair it is. Because as long as you can interact on some dimension, then I think it's fair. Some decks are hard to interact with, but they're slow, and that's fine. Like, Tron might be a good example of that. Tron is slow. Tron does not win on turn 3 or 4. Tron basically wins on turn 10. So if you have a deck that doesn't care about, like, permanence on the battlefield, like Storm, then you just crush that deck. So even then, there's still a little bit of interaction because they play with, like, Relic of Progenitus and stuff. Let's get to a quick super chat sweep. So there's some super chats that I don't get a notification for. Have you tried to find top loaders lately? I have not. Is it bad? I want to look. Okay, let's go to Amazon again. I heard it was bad when the virus hit, like when the pandemic started. Heard they were like really expensive. Fortunately, I was lucky. I had already ordered like a big chunk of top loaders right before. Oh, are you kidding me? 3 times 4 top loaders, $160. So it's available. 4 Ultra Pro regular top loader pack, $60. It looks like they can't sell it in the big. Oh, these. This is what I was buying before, but only one of them. I swear it was definitely less than this. 2 of these for $40? Are you out of your fucking mind? Okay, so this is what I was buying. 100 pack, $60. I definitely paid less. I definitely paid less for this thing. I did not spend $60 on this. Maybe I spent 30. I don't know what the price was before. By the way, this is Canadian dollars, which is like, 60 Canadian dollars is equivalent to like $1 US, if anyone's curious. That's how it works. Mr. Wapkin, hey, how does one get good at limited after jamming just modern for like 5 years straight? I can't give you great advice because I'm not good at limited, but I would say start diving into limited content. Listen to limited podcasts, and you got to practice. You got to play a lot of limited. Dive into the limited community. Have you used Brazen Borrower in Modern Fish? I run 4 in Legacy Merfolk, and they shine every time I see them. Could they find a home in Modern Merfolk deck? Of course. I just haven't used them recently. I haven't used them recently because I haven't seen Ensnaring Bridge in a long time. Like, that's the only reason I ever wanted to use a bounce spell, was for Ensnaring Bridge. So if Ensnaring Bridge comes back in a big way, if Karn the Great Creator comes back in a big way, you'll see me start sleeving up Brazen Borrower again. But it's been a while. It's been like it's been a while since I started playing with Brazen Borrower. But that's the reason why. I only play Brazen Borrower to bounce Ensnaring Bridge. Alexander, is Ponza still relevant? Yes. Still relevant. Is it time to sell my seasoned Pyros from my Abosh aggro to help buy blue-red prowess? If you really want to move, that's a totally fine thing to do, I think. I don't know what seasoned Pyromancer is. Like, what are the odds it's going to get reprinted anytime soon? But it's worth a good chunk of change at the moment. And it doesn't seem like it's a good modern staple, is the deal. Only $26? I bet it could go up even more. But it all depends if it's going to get reprinted soon. Like, this is one of the best cards in Modern. This is a very good staple. But I don't want to say how you, like, scrap up the money to fund your other decks. Emperor Sakis. I'm only using Dragon Hide binders from Legion Supplies. I have 3, but it's really difficult to get. You know what I really want? I want, like, a nice leather 4-row binder. That's what I really want. I want like one really nice binder for my really nice cards. Like, I don't mind this. I think I have a, I don't know if I have a I think I have a Dragon Shield or Ultimate Guard, whatever, something. Quadro binder. And it's fine. It's good and all that, but I want one like really nice binder for my good stuff. It's basically what I'm getting at. But like, everything's off the market. Pigeon, how do you feel about the new player MTG experience? Do you feel there is a way to make it easier to access? Not really. Magic is like, well, here's the deal. Like, we all got into the game the same way by like starting our turns by drawing our card and then realizing we have to untap our creatures, and then we play every spell that we can, then we attack, and then, you know, we try to figure it out from there. I mean, the best way, it'd be better if Magic, instead of having tournaments which focused on winning, that there were more casual like MTG nights. Like, bring whatever random jank deck you want, and you get rewarded for playing as many games as you can. And I don't know, after so many games you get a booster or some shit like that. I'm not too sure. Like, but local, what I want to say is like the local FNM, if they want to accommodate new players better, there should be more of a like game night sort of event on a regular basis for that super casual crowd. I don't know how well that would like do, but I mean, it's fine for Commander. I know Commander does very well like that. you know, you enter, you get like, maybe you get a booster for every I don't know how it works in Commander, to be honest. I really don't know. I don't play, never played any of those Commander Night things. But I think that would make it easier for newer players if they can play against other newer or super casual players. And then when they're ready, they upgrade to the tournaments. Is the color scheme of your promo code on purpose or a coincidence? It's on purpose. It's very important that you get people to know the promo code. Like, it stands out, you know? Whoops. So the promo code has to stand out from everything else. Like, after all, how do I help myself and my sponsor if I don't show them the promo code? So it's not like it gets washed away with everything else here. So this is the promo code from Fusion Gaming. Like, the most important thing that people have to walk away with is knowing the promo code. In my opinion, that is my marketing opinion. 27 Noetic asks, with all the old bordered reprints, will you be breaking the bank to glam up your Merfolk deck? I won't break the bank, but I will get myself foil Japanese Master of the Pearl Tridents. I will get those. I don't care what the fuck it takes, but I'll buy those. Just in case somewhere deep in the future, I will refoil out my entire deck. Oh, we got a super chat from Chris Menz. Morning, Nikachu. Sorry for being late. No, you're just on time. Well, you're going to be on time for Decklist review. What cards in your deck would you like most to get an alternate art / box top or similar? Honestly, Force of Negation. I don't, and this was one reason why I was a little apprehensive of buying the foil of this card. I don't really like this art. I just don't. I don't like it. And I know, like, one day they're going to reprint this card in some new art, and I'm just going to fucking take my chances with that one. So I'm actually just patiently waiting. I mean, even now, if it comes out in foil, I'm probably not going to get it because I don't want to buy into foils too much anymore. But if there's another card I am waiting for an alternate art for, it's Force of Negation. I'm just not in love with this thing. I can't appreciate this guy in this orb and the contrast of the blue and red. I understand this probably looked great in foil, but I am just not in love with the art of this card. It's not even a bad art. It's not a bad art. It's just like I'm not in love with this thing. I'm just not in love with this thing. I think the composition is good. I think the detail is great and all that. I just don't. I want a better. I want a different one. I want a second choice. I like choices. Ben Golan, spring break time to jam some Coffee and MTG all week. Excellent, Ben. Welcome. Thanks for joining us today. All right, you know what time it is, everyone? It's Decklist review time. So get your deck list ready. In the description, I have a link to my Discord. It's a wonderful Discord. Then there is a channel called Decklist Reviews. Please go to the channel and enter the command !review deck space. Give the URL to your deck list, and you'll be chosen at random to be chosen for deck list review. And we'll have a lot of time. We'll love to check out your special brew or any of your new special anything. So as we wait for people to show up for deck list reviews, submit their deck lists, we'll thank our sponsors, starting with FusionGamingOnline.com, my favorite local game store, but also a great place to buy all your paper singles and also pre-order. And also, not only pre-order, you can pre-order anything. You can get we can get Master of the Pearl Trident right now. Pre-order now. I can get the $6 for $7. Do they got the foil? Oh, out of stock. Whatever. I didn't want the English one anyway. We didn't want the English one. Enough people pre-ordered the Master of the Pearl Trident in foil. Anyway, the deal of the week this week. Save 15% off all Kaldheim singles and sealed products. So if you're looking to get some Kaldheim singles, or you want to, get a booster box to draft with your friends, right now is a good time. 15% off with 15% off with the deal of the week. But you can also get an additional 5% off if you use coupon code Nikachu at checkout. Fuck, this is too big. I gotta make this smaller. Too big. But also, we're going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place to rent Magic cards online. Definitely the best place. Hold on, let's see. To test drive any deck that you want to see what is best for you in Modern, or if you just like to hop on to the next best thing, the next hottest deck on the block from one week to the next, Mana Traders is there for you. You can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or save 15%, save 15% off your first 3 months using my coupon code Nikachu. Salkos, hey Nikachu, love your content. You convinced me to try Merfolk, and it's not a deck I would ever typically play. You're welcome. I still love Merfolk after all these years. I still love Merfolk. All right. I'll wait for a few more. Okay, I think everyone submitted their deck lists. Good luck, everyone. Rayman 344. Congratulations. You're the next contestant on deck list review. We have Aetherworks Miracle. Oh, God. What is this going to be about? Aetherworks Miracle. Start getting your thinking caps on, people. Aetherworks Miracle. Thriving Turtle. What's the format, by the way? We are in Modern. We're in Modern Town here. We've got Thriving Turtle, 1 mana, 0/3, get 2 energy, Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger, and Emrakul. How the hell are we going to get this in play? Is there a description? Working progress. Made a deck like this a while before I quit playing, but I'm getting back into it. Any suggestions would be helpful. Turn 4 Emrakul with Aetherworks Marvel pretty consistently. All right. That's not bad if you can get that out. So we have Ancient Stirrings to help find. Now, I'm curious why more people have not really tried to make Aetherworks Marvel work in Modern, because we do have things like Ancient Stirrings to find your Aetherworks Marvel, which is good. Is there any way we can cheat that thing in play? I guess there's not many good lands available to us. Attune with Aether. Search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library, get 2 energy. Harness Lightning, choose target creature. You get... Yeah, you can deal damage, get energy. Glass Blower's Puzzle Knot. When Glass Blower's Puzzle Knot enters the battlefield, scry 2, then you get 2 energy. Pay 2, you can scry and get some more energy. Wood Weaver's Puzzle Knot. ETB, gain 3 life, get 3 energy. Sacrifice, get more energy and 3 life. And of course, Aetherworks Marvel. But this is, you may cast the creature. So if you cast Emrakul, they're fucked, right? So that's actually pretty good. So Aetherworks Marvel says, whenever a permanent you control is put into a graveyard, you get an energy. And I see you have enough fetch lands. This is a pretty pricey deck for jank. Like, look how cheap. Actually, the left side is not that much cheaper either. Ulamog is $1 million. Holy crap, this is an expensive card. This is so expensive. How much is this deck? It's somehow $200 online. It's like $1,000 in paper. This is one of the more expensive Modern decks available. That's hilarious. That's amazing. You know, you could play anything basically in Modern for $1,000. But you chose Aetherworks Marvel. I respect that. All right, everyone. Are there any... First off, clean list. Clean. Very clean. You know what you want. I would think you need more Harness Lightnings, though, and I'll tell you why. Because it interacts with the opponent, right? You barely have any creature interaction. I would rather have another Harness Lighting over a fucking puzzle box, I think. Well, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you want to be able to find your Aetherworks Marvel. Okay, I would rather have Harness Lightning over Wood Weaver's Puzzle Knot. Whereas the problem with Harness Lightning is it's garbage if you don't have a creature in play. You go 3 to each? Yeah, but like you need more, right, though? Look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may cast a card, so you need to... Oh, we got a new member, Leszek Zielinski. Thank you very much for joining the wave on YouTube, and literally joining. Not enough people know that you can join and support the channel by joining on YouTube. And I hope if you're not a member of the Discord that you're able to link your Discord account to YouTube. There's like some instructions I've left in the in that membership area. Mishra's Bauble? I don't know if Mishra's Bauble will do it. Or have a way to ditch them. Probably the discard mechanic. I don't know if it's that big of a deal if it's in your hand. I mean, it sucks, but... Iron says, I put an order with Fusion last week. Their prices beat face-to-face on Standard. I put a note into them to thank them for the sponsorship, too. Thank you very much, Iron. What's my opinion on Amulet? It's a good deck. It's a good deck. Underrated. Everything's underrated, especially after it got banned. Okay, well, what do we do here? I actually have no other suggestions. I think, like, all the energy cards have been... are being played. So yeah, I maybe I understand why there's only 3 energy cards here on creature removal, but I think it's more important. I think it's more important than Woodweaver. I would go 3 of this and 4 of this. 25 lands? That seems about right. Because otherwise the problem is you're gold fishing a lot slower than the opponents are. The only fortunate thing is you literally can consistently do this on turn 4. So you can go pay 4 mana, play this thing, have the 6 energy, immediately go to town. Gonti's Machinations. Whenever you lose life for the first time each turn, you get an energy. Pay 2 energy, sacrifice Gonti's Machinations. Each opponent loses 3 life, you gain life. I don't think that's worth it, though, because it's an energy card. But on the other hand, it's an energy card, but it doesn't do that much. Like, it doesn't interact with the battlefield. And, like, when you kill your opponent, I mean, you're going to kill them with Emrakul. Leszek, thank you very much. From Poland, I never play in Modern. I want to start Jund or Fairies. We have a lot of players locally, and I want to invest in something. Jund, and ideally Death Shadow Jund. Some sort of Death Shadow. Fairies is... Jund has seen... You know, a lot of people rag on the Jund players, but including myself. But Jund at least has been a playable deck for forever. Fairies has very rarely been a playable deck. It's a big risk to go Fairies because they don't have many Fairies available. Unless you want to go strict blue-black control. If you just want to play with control and scrap the Fairies, that's also possible too. Well, a lot of decks randomly lose to Pithing Needle, though. Anyway, I don't think we have a lot of suggestions. You could use a sideboard, definitely with more Harness Lightning, and definitely your sideboard has to include like more creature removal, because that would be your biggest threat. I think I would have a 4th Harness Lightning over this Puzzle Knot. I don't want to gain life. I want to kill things on the battlefield. I think that's more important. Then you may but you have to pay your energy. Whatever. You got to keep it going. Try to live. Needs an alternate way to cheat stuff out. You know what is... Okay, you know what? That's a good suggestion, too. So maybe we also could play with some Through the Breach. That would not be ridiculous. Some number of Through the Breach in here, but I don't know what you take out. Unless you take out, like, the Harness Lightning. Actually, maybe this is expendable, but I don't know how many of Attune with Ether you can remove. Because you still need the energy requirements for your Aetherworks Marvel. Maybe in the sideboard you can play with Through the Breach against the decks where you just need more ways of getting the big fatties out. As is, okay. Nice list. Cool stuff. Hopefully you don't Aetherworks Marvel into your Thriving Turtle, though. I don't mind this card. 1 mana, 0/3. Block your shit all day. Hopefully. Thanks for submitting it. I would really... To give better feedback, I'd really have to play with the deck to know where its genuine weaknesses are. Tragic. All right, Tragic. I don't even know what I'm looking at here. Arena draft deck. Okay, I will look at this. I can't even look at this, Tragic. We don't review draft decks. I'm not a draft player. Sorry about that, Arena. Sorry about that, Tragic. Indosh, you are the next contestant on Decklist Review. Yeah, we do constructed decks here that are non-commander deck lists. Okay, we got Paradox Elves. Interesting. What's the Paradox? Oh, it has Paradox Engine. 5. Whenever you cast a spell, untap all non-land permanents you control. Oh. Oh. Oh, that is interesting. That is a spicy meatball. So as you play elves, so hopefully that works really well with like Beast Whisper and... Oh, how do you not have that creature that plays spells off the top of your library? I don't know what Finale of Devastation does in this. Oh, I guess Finale of Devastation gives you maybe enough mana. Do you have a way to put stuff in your hand? Anyway, let's look at this. Arbor Elf, Elvish Mystic, Heritage Druid, Llanowar Elf. So far, usual suspects: Nettle Sentinel, Dwynen's Elite, Elvish Visionary, War Master, which you gotta pay off with all this mana that you might make. Elvish Archdruid, Beast Whisper, Finale of Devastation. Gray, Gray asked, do you post your VODs anywhere? I do. Nikachu MTG streams. Look it up on YouTube. All the replays to these VODs all go there. And all my gameplay goes there. Yeah, Nikachu monkey sounds. Yeah, I think this is a Realm Walker deck. Like, I think this is a Realm Walker deck. I think it might do better than Finale of Devastation. I don't know if you really need this card. Or maybe I'm wrong. Hold on. Harmonize. Okay, actually, okay. I think you definitely want Realm Walker over Harmonize. Like, if you have a lot of mana to burn, you might as well play Elvish Visionary. Realm Walker. I think you want that. I'll say one thing about Harmonize. If you're in an attrition-based matchup, I mean, this might just be like a nice card to just draw randomly and play. I like this, you know? I mean, maybe it's win more, you know? Maybe it's win more. But, I mean, it's not a bad card in a deck like this. Holy fuck, how many lands do we have? Do we have, like, no lands? We have 8 Forest, 4 Turn Timber Symbiosis. How do we cast anything? Do we just have that many mana elves? We have too few lands, I think. We have 12 lands. Okay, fuck it. I have a different suggestion. We need to add more lands. We actually have to ditch the Harmonize and just add, I don't know, 4 Cavernous Souls or something. Is it a budget deck? Might be a budget deck. This is very low. There is Turn Timber. Who cares? That's 12 lands. I don't care how many mana dorks you have. What is a normal elf stat? Let's look up modern elves. See, they have 18 lands, usually. We have to get to 18 for crying out loud. We need 8. I think at least 18. So we've got 12. Okay, you have to return the Harmonize into lands, apparently. And then maybe some Finale of Devastation into some lands. It doesn't matter how many mana dorks you have. Okay, I'll tell you what's going to happen. You will mulligan so many hands because you have no land in your hand. And then you'll be like... You'll be straight fucked because you have to mulligan so often because you have no land hands. Okay, there we go. We got Frederick in the house here. We need at least 16. Usually play elves, play 18 land. Okay, so I think we should go to 18. Finale is basically replacing Craterhoof as long as you put 10 into it. Just saw that. Well, yeah, but you can put like that same thing within... I think Turn Timber Symbiosis does something similar. Yeah, but you have a million cantrips. That's a difference. And you have tons of cards that make mana. These are creatures which die to removal. Okay, so first suggestion, scrap the Harmonize and some Finale of Devastations till you get to 18 lands. So that's 6. So you can have 1 Finale of Devastation. I would say we got to replace something. Remove the Arbor... Remove some Arbor Elves. I think you have a lot... Look, when you have Heritage Druid out, I mean, this is what's going to combo with your Paradox Engine as far as I'm concerned. You're going to float a ton of mana, Paradox Engine. I don't think you need to rely on Arbor Elf as much. Arbor Elf doesn't even work in this deck. You don't even have enough forests to play Arbor Elf. So scrap Arbor Elf. Play Realm Walker. I think Realm Walker is the card that we want in this place of this card. And I think that would be good. I think the rest of the sideboard is fine. Choke, Reclamation Sage. These are all okay. I might want 1 more Finale of Devastation. So maybe just 3 more Realm Walkers. I don't know. Or maybe 1 less Beast Whisperer, because this is pretty expensive. And you can use Finale of Devastation as a pseudo Beast Whisperer. I mean, I get it. Like, this combos very well with Paradox Engine. Needs non-creature interaction. Well, Elves is sort of like a one-sided doing its own thing deck. Lead the Stampede, add two, cut the Harmonizes. No, we already cut Harmonizes for lands. You got to cut the creatures or Paradox Engine. I think that their deal is they want to leverage Paradox Engine with Elvish War Master. I think that's the deal. Well, Arbor is definitely not worth it. We only have 8. We have literally 8 forests. You know how often we're gonna have that forest? Not that often. Well, maybe we keep more Finalia Devastations as the mana sink. I'm not against this card really. I just needed to make priority cuts for the mana base. I'm not in love with Lead the Stampede, to be honest. I know that's what Elves usually plays. I guess what would happen is instead of Paradox Engine, they would play Lead the Stampede usually. I don't mind Collected Company. I like that card. Young Chung also says, my Elves deck has 18 lands. Yeah, you're right, Element Mao. We got to get rid of that Arbor Elf. Oh, Snowman has some suggestions. For the first deck, Defense Grid, Veil of Summer, Through the Breach, Summoner's Trap, Return Timber, Symbiosis, maybe. Quicksilver Amulet are all cards to consider. I'd say you need more interaction. Great suggestions for the sideboard of the last deck. I should have read some of these comments. They're great comments. Pendlehaven, maybe? Yeah, so we definitely could have one Pendlehaven in this deck. So, I mean, I take this for what it's worth. I mean, I understand people like these cards, like Lead the Stampede and Winding Way to get some card advantage. But I don't know if that... I have no... maybe it's good with Paradox Engine. You get a bunch of mana, then you play Lead the Stampede, you get a bunch of creatures. Maybe that actually works out quite well. Maybe... well, I guess what it comes down to is I think Beast Whisper is that their version of card advantage. I think this is their card advantage card. It's hard to, like, remove anything. Like, all of these are almost mandatory, right? There's, like, nothing in here I want to take out. Maybe you could part with Dwynen's Elite. Maybe. You like the green Pact in these sort of Elves decks with Beast Whisperer? Interesting. So, Pact, get Beast Whisperer, go off. No room for a Singleton Shaman of the Pact? Nope, definitely not. That'd be just a very different deck. Not to mention you have to splash black for it. I got a guy in the club that plays 14 lands and wins all the time. Someone's got to be killing those creatures. What about the Infect one? I have no idea what the Infect one is. Oh, you mean... are you talking about the actual Infect creature with Glistener Elf? Yes, it is an elf, but it is not for an elf deck. That's a card I've never seen in an elf deck before. Maybe under some obscure metagame where there's like infinite life gain combos, this might be playable because you can give this trample and a million +1/+1. That could be an interesting sideboard card. Hey, this is my deck. So Arbor and Harmonize should be cut. Play at least 17 land. Okay. Yeah, Shaman of the Pact is just a totally different style of deck. But remember, this deck is... whoops. This deck is based around Paradox Engine. So, I mean, at the very least, I don't want to cut this card. That seems to be their baby, what they want to base the deck around. And so all the cards that you suggest, don't be just suggesting like cards that generally go into an elf deck. Consider cards that would work well with Paradox Engine. Whenever you cast a spell, untap all non-land permanents you control. Honestly, actually, Winding Way and Lead the Stampede would work with this card, right? So you tap all your mana, play Lead the Stampede, untap, get a bunch of... you know what? I can get behind that. Maybe it's better than Beast Whisperer. So I could get behind these like Lead the Stampede and Winding Way cards. Choose Winding Way. Choose creature or land. Reveal the top 4 cards of your library. Put all cards of the chosen type revealed this way into your hand, the rest into your graveyard. And lead the Stampede. You can't have too many of these lead the Stampede cards because you need to still have a pretty creature-dense deck. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. Reveal any number of creature cards from among them and put the revealed cards into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. I don't have to take out, though, for that. Oh, by the way, sideboard, Tormod's Crypt, Essence Ward, and Grafdigger's Cage. Cage? Creature cards, like, that doesn't... Whoops, hold on. I'm looking at the wrong deck. Let's get rid of that thing. Shaper's Sanctuary. Oh, no, yeah, we looked at the sideboard. The sideboard was good. Sideboard is Gucci. How about adding black? That's a totally different color. Like, I don't like doing that to people's deck lists. Like, why don't we add black? Why don't we make this Grick? Why don't we make this a Sultai elf deck? You know, like, if it was, it's not absolutely mandatory, obviously. Like, I mean, if you play Golgari elves, great. Play Golgari elves. This player had the choice. Mono green or Golgari. They went mono green. Is mono green playable? Absolutely. If I were super confident, like if someone was playing a mono green Jund deck, I would say this is impossible, man. You've got to add black to it or red or something. Mono green is just impossible to make a Jund deck out of. But so anyway, I want to stick within what this player was designing the deck for, because it's just a different deck. Sure, Shaman wins through Ensnaring Bridge. They're just hoping they don't play against Ensnaring Bridge. Also, they can still win through Ensnaring Bridge. Like, if they have even one card in hand, they attack with one creature and then just pump it up a million times with War Master afterwards. If you have the mana available. See, look at this. I'm all in on mono green, so you need to keep working on mono if he likes. I mean, of course, there will always be cards that will beat you. That's okay. You can beat the other decks. Anyway, I think that's I think that's all we have for I think that's all that we've got for whoops, I got rid of my thing. Whatever. We don't need it. That's going to be it for all for Decklist reviews. But anyway, thank you very much for joining me today. Thank you very much for making me a part of your daily routine. Now, as usual, if I didn't get to your comments or questions, don't worry. We do this every weekday. We do this weekdays, Monday to Friday, 9:00 a.m. Central Standard Time. Be there or be square. If you want to know where the VODs go afterwards, go to Nikachu MTG Streams. Subscribe to that alternate YouTube channel. That's where you can find the replays and also find all my gameplay videos. If you want to support the channel, you can support by subscribing on twitch.tv/NikachuMTG. You could also become a patron on Patreon at patreon.com/NikachuMTG. And also, you could join on YouTube. There's a join button below if you want to support the channel, or you can support with. Thank you very much, everyone, for the super chats, everyone supporting the channel that way. And as usual, keep brewing that coffee, and we'll keep brewing up the magic. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.